Cardano founder admits a flaw within the blockchain. What is it? This is around the blockchain. Thank you for joining. Make sure you hit that like button, everybody. We're going to get right into it. We have a great lineup today. On the top left, we have Firoz holding it down. Hey, Firoz, I see. Is that an extra book on the bookshelf?
It is, DZ. It is.
All right, you got the new, the latest Twilight fan fiction?
No, it's not really.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. No, that's what I read. That's what I read. I'm sorry. All right. Also, we have on today T Psilocybin, also known as TShroom. TShroom, how goes it today? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really, really great, DZ. Almost feeling better than I deserve.
Hey, that's what we like. And if you feel better than you deserve, hit that like button, everybody. Also on today, we have Crypto Blood back in the red square. Does that seem fair?
Hey!
All right.
That was me in the background.
That was him.
Barking. Yeah, that was me.
And then we also rounded out with Crypto Lifer with all the screens on. Any of those screens in a juicy trade?
No, thank you so much for having me here today. Looking at trade. It's funny. It's a trade called trade. It's polytrade. It's pretty funny, but yeah, that's the trade. It's called trade USDT. So
dang
funny.
you, simulation and your weirdness. All right, let's get into the first topic here, and we're going to talk about Cardano. Charles Hoskinson, he had some criticisms. Yes, he is fair, at least in this case, when it comes to, is Cardano a little bit slow with their development? I will say this. I know holders from $3.09 are feeling that price action has been a little bit slow. We topped out in, okay, looks like it was pre the second Bitcoin pump of 2021, coming in at the beginning of August there. The beginning of September. And then now down about 90%. We peaked out about $3.09, coming in now 38 cents, down 2.5%. But Charles Hoskinson, he was just on CoinDesk. Shout out to the CoinDesk podcast network. Big fans, Wendy and the Hash. Well, he was on the Hashing It Out podcast with Alicia and expressed optimism about the future of crypto overall. And he said, there were some issues in creating Cardano. First off, recreating a network effect. Said that was necessary, though, to develop what they ended up wanting to build. And he did acknowledge, there is going to be a multi-chain industry moving forward, and Cardano is going to try to, move forward with that. But when it came to the delays, he said, sorry, we were betting on the wrong technology and being a bit ambitious with the roadmap. And he's currently saying the roadmap about 85% complete. Firoz, I looked at that, that previous spike rally. We had a few smart contracts. Really, I think maybe Space Buds was out at that point. Maybe not even, so really Cardano at that point, I know people will argue against it, but essentially at that point at $3, Cardano was a wallet and not much else. What are you feeling about this upcoming bull run? Does the fact that Cardano is now more flourishing, will that help its case, or will it really not move the needle because community is really what's important?
I don't really think it's going to move the needle. I've always seen Cardano as a staple. It was there in 2017. We also had it in this run as well. So it's clearly here to stay. But I don't see it massively moving the needle. Like you mentioned before, right? Cardano, is it falling behind? Maybe not necessarily, but it's certainly not keeping up with the times, right? When we look at all the other projects within the crypto space, everything is moving pretty much at 100 miles per hour. And then you have Cardano and Charles Hoskinson just slowly coming along with their progress or lack of development. I think one of the main issues that they have also is that they're not really hitting that DeFi scene, right? Because let's be honest, what we tend to see a lot is, along with the L1s, along with the L2s, what is the main use case that we all want to look for? We want to figure out how we can make more gains on that chain. And unless you've got DeFi in place, you're not going to be making those gains. Ultimately, you're just going to have to be sitting on that token and hoping that you're going to get a pump out of it. And maybe you'll get some of that in your bags. And I think that's what's really happening here. So again, Charles, he's going to defend his network. He has to. But the thing is with Charles is that it's all about being rigorous. It's all about making sure that it's secure. It's all about making sure that it's scalable. All of these things just take time. And then we throw in the whole interoperability mix. And I'll be honest, I think one of the big things that we need to look out for, certainly in the next bull run, is going to be interoperability. We can't have blockchains just running in silos anymore. And again, I think we also need to move away from all these bridges, bridging tokens from one network onto another, because what have we seen? A lot of the exploits that we've seen up until now have been on bridges as well. So I think what we do need, and what Cardano should definitely focus on, is interoperability.
Well, I'm glad you brought up, one of the main issues there is the lack of DeFi in the space. Now, TShroom, when it comes to total value locked, if you include self-custody, it is way, way up there. Over 1 million wallets are custody, staking Cardano versus Ethereum. So 1 million additional wallets there. Very, very easy. I've gone on the record saying it's probably the easiest way to stake your crypto is through, just via your wallet on Cardano. Is the ease in which you can just get your fairly safe 4 or 5% APY. I just click one button. I'm staking my Cardano on, I think, the berry pool there. Is it too easy to stake Cardano? And is that the reason we're not seeing DeFi? I don't have to work. I can just get my tax-free 5%, I feel like. So why would I work for 7% or 10% or 20%?
That's an interesting question, DZ. I think that staking on Cardano is easy for a reason. I think that that's something that Charles Hoskinson and the development team really emphasized early on, and I think it's an advantage. The fact that they have kind of downplayed DeFi a little more, I think it shows that they've picked a lane. They've picked a lane, and while DeFi, it could potentially be way bigger than what Cardano has rolled out with its ease of staking. It ultimately, Cardano has shown that they're decisive, right? The leadership over at Cardano is decisive. They picked the lane and they're sticking with it. And I must say, DZ, the ease of staking Cardano, not just on Cardano specific wallets, is pretty great, and it has attracted a lot of people into crypto just because of that ease. Hearing your uncle or your nephew or your boss or your employee has had a lot of success, or is getting a 4 APY on Cardano, that has attracted a lot of people into the space, and obviously we can't be any more appreciative of that. So it's ultimately, I think Cardano has again picked a lane. It's had a lot of success. If it wants to swerve more into multi-chain in the future, I'm sure that there's nobody better than Charles Hoskinson to try to engineer something like that. There's a long road for crypto, guys. This is far from over. This is very much the beginning. The dust has not settled on anything pretty much in crypto other than Bitcoin is super badass. That is the only dust that has settled. Everything else is still absolutely up for grabs. So Cardano could pivot to multi-chain in the future. I don't know. I'm not aware that that's in their plans right now. But as of right now, DC, it's exactly what you said. Cardano has found a lot of strength. They found they're very comfortable in their identity as an ease of stake coin.
All right, so Cardano could pivot, and it's currently swerving around. Well, speaking of swerving around on the road, at least we have Crypto Blood. I only say that one of the few guests who's done a episode from his vehicle. Guys, he was safe.
Right.
He wasn't on the highway doing 90 while answering questions there.
130.
Or maybe he was.
Maybe 140.
Yeah, he was going 140. 140. We could tell we were looking at the.
Yeah, my car goes 177.
Woo,
yeah.
Woo. Okay. I might have to borrow the demon, and we go around on a cruise on a Sunday afternoon. All right. Well, Crypto Blood, Charles Hoskinson, he's done a lot of developments with sovereign nations. He's got a lot of development activity overseas. He's trying to help school records overseas. But I want to ask you about the impact in America. Is he going to have any of that success replicated in the US of A, or is it going to be too much of an entrenched machine for him to break through?
What project can break through the US of A? I mean,
well, I think it might be EOS. We have California DMV.
Trump built a crypto wall. I mean, Biden built a crypto wall around the United States. I don't think any project is going to flourish here in the States. But as far as Charles Hoskinson, he's a great guy, smart individual. He, I tell this story all the time. I met him in Wyoming a few years ago at a political conference. And listened to him speak. I didn't know he was that knowledgeable about history and everything. So the guy is well-rounded. He's definitely smart and has the skills to make it happen. Unfortunately, I think he's thinking too much. I think he's taking too long. He's basically making the mistake that many startups, and I'm not saying he's a co-founder of Ethereum, so he has experience, but many startup founders, take too long. They iterate and try to make a perfect product instead of getting it out, minimum viable product, get it out into the wild, let the people break it. To a certain extent, we're in blockchain. You can't have a Solana situation, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I think they've taken too long to actually scale and get to market and catch up with competitors like Ethereum and I mean so many others. So I'm that's my biggest pick or pain point, I should say, with Cardano. They're taking too long. They don't have the speeds that they need to, and them taking the decision to not go in the DeFi direction, I think, was a big mistake as well.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Perfect being the enemy of good. I think you could apply that to Cardano quite fairly, in my opinion. All right, well, Crypto Lifer, a lot of people, all right, that's cool. Charles, I don't care about his Falcon. I don't care about his knowledge of history. I don't care about, the crazy outfits he wears. Smart contracts, all googly gook to me. I'm a trader. I want to know where that coin's going. So Lifer, for the viewers at home wondering, well, just tell me some price predictions here. Do you have any Cardano price predictions? What do you expect once we can break through this 40 to 42 cent sell wall?
Interesting. Thank you so much for having me on Around the Blockchain. I love being here. My favorite place to be at 5 o'clock on a Thursday. So thank you. I interviewed him, one of my first interviews ever 2 years ago on my channel. I got to meet him in New York. Lovely guy, like great person. I got into Cardano at 2 cents and 8 cents. It went all the way. Remember that first rally, $1.24, if I remember correctly. The second rally, $3.31. What's so bad? I mean, it went down like most every other coin in the game. Another thing, I made this video 3 years ago. Cardano to the recipient of 5.6 trillion from Africa, right? This is when I first, just got started. But I always had this vision that it was going to be something bigger. And
wait, was that 2 years ago? I'm sorry to cut you off. You look literally identical to the previous picture. Your thumbnail, you haven't aged. Is there a painting of you growing old in a basement somewhere?
Benjamin Button. So look, it's all the fasting. So look, Cardano, it's hard to it's such a bigger project that I don't like to look at day-to-day charts on it. I just have an open-minded here. This is what's called accumulation, right? It accumulates. Big coins, big projects, billion-dollar market caps, they accumulate. Look how long of accumulation it took off till it boomed again. To me, this is accumulation. If you believe in the project and you believe in Charles, you continue to buy on this line. There's your halving, May of 2024. The Bitcoin rips. This is going to rip. I believe it will rip past its all-time high yet again. This hill, remember, everyone forgets the main hill is the high there, or the high that you used to see was the biggest thing on the chart, just like this is. But one day you're going to shrink down, and I believe Cardano will be somewhere up in here, $5, $7, $8, and that's not going to be the biggest thing on the chart. So I love what Charles is doing. I go back to Nikola Tesla. He stood in front of a symposium and he talked about images moving through wires, and he basically explained the internet, and he was laughed off of stage. When you have a bigger vision than the masses can even figure out, most people are going to call you a failure. I think he sees something bigger than everybody else. I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. I believe he has something going that other people don't realize. I think it's just going to take that much longer. People say, "Oh, he's not doing DeFi, he's not doing that," but that's the trend now. He's trying to set the trend for 4 to 5 years from now. He's not trying to chase the trend that we're seeing. So, I met him. Really cool guy. I felt, he was funny too. We joked around. He's actually got a really good sense of humor. I believe in Cardano. I still hold it. You can call me a chump, whatever you want, a Cardano guy. But, I've been there for so long. Why don't I just keep it going? I truly believe he's the one focused on Africa. And then another thing, unbanking the unbanked, that he's there to make a big change, not just to make some quick DeFi money, to really maybe free an entire nation who the banking system has just completely left alone. I have faith in what he's doing. I just think it's going to be big. And he also goes against sanctions, governments, and there may be some other things at play here as he circumvents rules and regulations too, to try to figure out how he can do what he wants to do. So, like Crypto Blood saying, with a lot of red tape in the United States, it's not easy. Again, I get it. It's taken too long, but that's my spiel on Cardano, and I do like Cardano, and shout out to Charles.
Yeah, we love Charles here. Not afraid to drop an F-bomb either in his live streams when he's talking about the government. He has some strong opinions. No, not Falcon, a different F word. Anyway, all right, let's move on here. Let's move on. Talk about another F word, fear. That is right. DeFi, apparently big boogeyman that we should be scared of. This is coming from, I believe, Wall Street Journal. Yeah, Wall Street Journal. Decentralized cryptocurrency markets threaten U.S. security. This is from the Treasury Department. This lays the foundation for the regulation and formation and enforcement of these DeFi markets. You can kind of point to them for the reason that Tornado Cash is illegal. But this is a new report called DeFi Markets, and they assess the so-called risk of these and what it might mean for America's strength abroad here. And DeFi, just those who don't know, stands for decentralized finance, allows anonymous and peer-to-peer transactions where governments might not be able to track who is sending funds to whom there. The report went on to say ransomware hackers, rogue states, and other national security threats, they are seizing upon this technology and using the opaqueness to move money around without detection. Now, TShroom, that seems like a fair assessment. I mean, are you worried about DeFi being used by nefarious hackers and nefarious means? Anytime there's an electrical grid that goes down, they'll use a decentralized, smart contract to obfuscate where the Bitcoin goes, or whether the Ethereum was hidden via Tornado Cash and other protocols of that nature. So, is this something we should be concerned about? Should we stop DeFi in America? Muted. You're muted. There he goes.
No, DZ, we should absolutely not stop DeFi in America. I think that the United States should continue to be a leader in the DeFi regulation space. And while we don't need to necessarily set policies quite yet, we are looking definitely towards good regulation here in the near future. But no, I think that there's some easy arguments here. The low-hanging fruit, obviously, is that if criminals want to commit crimes and they want to get paid to do those crimes, they're going to figure out ways to do it. Whether it's exchanging gold bars, whether it's exchanging illicit drugs in compensation, they're going to figure out a way. Does the next generation of money, the natural evolution of money, does the internet converging with value make it easier for criminals to send money and to commit crimes? Yes, that's what happens when you have innovation. It is absolutely the government's role to try to figure out what the heck to do about it. And the reality is maybe they might not be able to do anything about it. But guess what? The government is not the end all be all. We are still, at the end of the day, a human race, and we are the ones who are the masters of our own destiny. And getting rid of the United States, getting rid of DeFi, trying to ban it, first of all, not going to work. And second of all, it would just totally slow down the evolution of money. And we have not really seen a good movement forward in money since credit cards. And you could make a very strong argument that credit cards suck and they should never have been invented. And they hurt way more than they help. They help me. I actually love credit cards, do really well with them. But there hasn't been any significant evolution since credit cards and since digital banking. Well, DeFi totally revolutionizes that, and crypto in general totally revolutionizes that. And so for the one of the world leaders like the United States to go against DeFi, it just sends the wrong message to the rest of the world. And for the Treasury to come out and speak like this, way out of their lane, obviously biased, it just doesn't. It's not a good look. And unfortunately, the result of this is not going to be positive outcomes for American citizens. It's going to be rich people flighting to other countries. We had an awesome guest on this week, Crypto Archie, who moved out of the UK. It's a little different of a situation. Moved out of the UK into Dubai, right? For the very reasons of the UK is not that favorable. Their laws are not that favorable to crypto, and so more than likely, what's going to happen here is that people of means and people without means are going to stay isolated if there is terrible regulation passed, if the Treasury gets their way. But people with means are going to just move to other countries or move their bank accounts to other countries where there are more favorable laws and more level-headed regulation.
All right, guys, time to start building up those meme coin stacks and maybe put yourself in that position. Joking, of course, just buy Bitcoin only. Firoz, I worry as an American that I'm, maybe susceptible to the boiling frog theory. And those who don't know what that is, you put a frog in a bucket or a pot of boiling water, it's immediately going to feel it. It's immediately going to try to jump out. However, you put it in room temperature water and then slowly increase the heat, it will boil itself alive without ever trying to escape. Maybe I am that boiled frog. As someone who is outside of America, In your opinion, should I start making a plan B? Should I start looking at, passports elsewhere? And should I start looking at another piece of real estate outside of the good old US of A?
Look, I mean, it's a shame in terms of the way crypto is being handled within the US. I think one of the main reasons behind that is obviously there's conflicting messages, from within Washington themselves, right? Because on one hand you have the likes of the CFTC, you have Tom Emmer, they've expressed their views that crypto should be regulated, it should be light touched more than anything else, right? It should be principle based approach. And then you got the likes of Gary, Joe, Janet, and they're very strong advocates for having stringent and obviously comprehensive regulation and oversight over crypto. So even within Washington, even within those agencies, there's conflicting messages. They're not even sure what they want to do. And unfortunately, that is spilling out into the US, into the sort of broader crypto industry as well. And again, that's gonna get people thinking. It's like, what do I do? Do I stay here? Do I run the risk? Do I maybe try and do some shady local Bitcoin deals where I can, sell my Bitcoin to somebody on a street corner and hopefully the IRS doesn't catch up to me, or do I go elsewhere? And I think TShroom mentioned it already before. And I know people who have also within the US, I think within the UK, it's a 20% tax, capital gains tax on crypto, actually. So whatever you make, it's 20%. And fine, you got to pay your taxes one way or the other. But what I am noticing, and I have seen many sort of close friends of mine, they've moved over to Dubai. They've moved to Dubai. It's more of a tax haven. It's crypto friendly. In fact, we're seeing a lot of organizations moving over to Dubai. Even Binance is out of Dubai, from what I'm aware. I think CZ spends most of his time over there nowadays. So I think, to be honest, DZ, it goes down to the question of how much do you have, and you don't need to tell me that. And again, it also comes down to really what your personal circumstances are. If you have a family, if you have kids, if your kids are in school, etc., all of those things. Sure, it's not going to be easy for you to uproot your life and go somewhere else so you can cash out your crypto gains. But I think, if you're kind of that free spirit and you're happy to roam around and try different jurisdictions just to see. But also, I think that even when you do take your funds to another country, and I think Dubai is the only one that only comes to mind where you won't really have an issue. But I know even if I go from the UK to the US, or from the US back to the UK, and even if I make profits in the US, I still have to pay taxes in the UK. So again, they've got a stronghold everywhere you go. You're going to have to give something up.
All right. And if you're wondering, my bag, I have 1.3 chain link, and I'm going to ride that to the sunset. Just wait for staking, folks. Just wait for staking. Crypto Blood. I want to make a rhyme here. Crypto Blood. Is this just more of the same crypto FUD? We've seen it before with the crypto crime FUD. Oh, drug dealers use it, and assassinations, and hitman on Silk Road. Is this more of that, or is it a little bit different this time, since we're coming off the heels of some crypto bank failures and starting to hear whispers of a CBDC?
Yeah, no, this is different. This is not just FUD here. When they say national security threat, it absolutely is to their from their perspective, DZ. You have to understand something. I said this earlier on another live stream. The number one thing that the U.S. government tries to do is keep that dollar hegemony, keep the dominance of the dollar throughout the global economy. So that is actually, by proxy, the number one security item, if you think about it, is the dollar. They have to keep it strong and have to keep it in the hands of most people in the world. So it is a threat. DeFi is definitely a threat. So they want to get DeFi out of the way. They're going to, in my opinion, make it where most United States of America citizens are going to have to only be able to use DeFi platforms where they KYC through. Anything else will be looked at as almost a tornado cash, because you are obfuscating and tumbling money and funds, and God knows what you're doing there with these platforms. Am I an advocate for it? No, I think you should be able to use whatever you want to use, but we got to be realistic here and look at the game plan from the people that are in power and over this monetary system. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to make sure that you can only use DeFi platforms where they know who is participating here in America. It is what it is.
All right. Well, he was Crypto Lifer. Let's pretend I just got elected. I believe I'm in MTG's district. I'm not kidding, Marjorie Taylor Greene. So Let's just pretend I usurped her somehow. I don't know how. She's probably got a pretty lot larger Twitter following than I do. Let's just say it happened. You're trying to appeal to me on why DeFi should stay. What are some of the benefits? We're doing a good job of saying how it's bad. Criminals, DeFi, by North Korean Lazarus Group. But what are some of the reasons why it should stay? Just besides, First Amendment, is there any tangible reason why it should exist?
I don't like to go through all the the every single part of the Constitution. With that, I'd have to spend some time. But when I look at it, I think about this. There's people that are getting completely hit by the banking system. And also, if I just share my screen, one thing I want to talk about is HSBC. They say this is national security. Look, before this, I just wanted to pull up HSBC fined $85 million for lax ante 2021. Wow. HSBC tax evasion, money laundering. It goes on. There's 40 pages of this. HSBC, $64 million for failure of money laundering, 2023. HSBC laundered money for the Mexican drug cartel, $1.9 billion fine. HSBC, Wall Street Journal. So is this national security? I'm just confused here because it seems to be going on every time anyway. So I'm 100%. I know that they're going to make up a rule that you broke anyway and come after you. So I'm going to play by the rules. If they need me to register, I'll register. If they, you know what I mean? Whatever they want us to do, I'll do. I don't like saying that. I would love to be the William Wallace freedom fighter of the world. But it seems like when you become that person, we've been watching it, right? They'll find a way to come get you or to mess with your life. So
are you talking about Mel Gibson or William Wallace?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, no, I guess if you want Mel Gibson, but yeah. It was throwing me off. I'm like, but I love that movie.
Don't go on a rant.
Yeah. So the thing I'm thinking about is, how could we be positive? I mean, there's people that are losing their money on the banking system, right? And they're not getting anywhere. You can't get any money out of the banking system. They just stopped staking for some of the coins that you can stake on Coinbase, correct? I was getting money on the algo, right? 40%. Some people were making some money on their savings. What's so bad about an American making some money on a savings account? God forbid.
Because it's not inside the system. Lifer is not inside the system. It has to stay inside the system.
I know. How can we figure it out?
You know the game.
Yeah, I get it. I'm going to have I don't even like talking about it because I don't want to be fished, so it's just, it's crazy, man. There's going to have to be a happy medium. And also at the end of the day, as much as I want to be a freedom fighter, there are bad actors out there. There are people doing, shady things. And I would like it if we could somewhat find who they are and make sure they're not, if someone kidnapped me or someone else and said, hey, blah, 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 and we can't find them because they're tornado cashing and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I hope that never happens. But so it's just, I would like it for the regulation. I just don't see how it's going to happen. Maybe some beautiful, innovative mind is going to come out and create the solution for this, another Satoshi or someone like that. But right now, I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of in the dark with it. I'm playing it day by day, year by year, seeing how we go. I love Tom Emmer. I love the people that are fighting for us. Let's see how far they can get. Let's see what happens with the XRP case too. I think so much is hanging on that still. And, yeah.
So we need more good actors in the space. Not like the Mel Gibson type, although he was great in What a Woman Wants. But no, not like that. More like the Tom Emmer style. I totally agree with that 100%. All right, well, let's move on to the last topic here. The Render token. You might be at home. You might have some Render. Please hit that like button if you do hold some Render. Well, guess what, guys? Render token might be moving to Solana from Polygon, and it looked like it rose 8% as they vote. Initially, the votes were heavily against the proposal there. No's definitely had it, but we just looked. Let me just refresh just to make sure we have the latest snapshot here. Now it looks like the approvals have passed 5.9 million to 2.8 nays against it. 68% are for approving here. One more thing I do want to share. If you want to follow this Render token, make sure you have the right one there. So 80,000 followers. It is a top 100 coin. I checked just earlier today. It's like 80, 90, somewhere around there. It's down 88. And that's after falling, oh no, that's after 8% rise. So yeah, maybe just now cracking into the top 100. But they said it was necessary for the project to grow. They're trying to get into, a higher throughput. And according to head developers, Solana was the best option. And those RNP, the Render, I'm not sure, protocol there. And overwhelmingly against, like I said in the beginning. And another fact about Render, in February, they had a burn and mint feature that favored the tokenomics. So they appeared to be, following through with the first proposal. We assume they'll also follow through with the second proposal there. Firoz, What were your thoughts? Just unpack your first thoughts when you heard they voted against staying on Polygon and to move to Solana. What were your thoughts there?
It's as if they want to trash their own token, to be honest. It's as if what they're saying is, hey, we've got a great service and we want to offer it to you, but not all the time. That's what it sounds like to me. But look, I think, is Solana up right now? Because if it is, I can give you some positive reasons why. If it's not, then it's going to fall flat on its face. But if Solana is up right now, why would Render be moving over? Well, actually, if you compare it to it being on Polygon, you
Wow.
do get quite a few things, right? You get higher throughut, guys. Hey, I ain't shilling Solana. I'm just giving you
Yeah.
the technical facts.
Flat
You get
on
higher
the
throughput.
weekly. Flat on the weekly there.
But again, right? High throughput, low latency for network settlements. You got all of these things. The interesting reason, actually, I'll tell you one of the main reasons behind it is that with Solana specifically, it has a very unique microeconomy, right? And that's what they call scene graph technology. Now, I won't go into the details too much, but if you kind of understand what Render is, it is actually a utility more than anything else, right? It's not a store of value. It's not a medium of exchange. It's none of those things. In fact, what it allows you to do, and if we think about, we just got a glimpse in the last bull run when the word metaverse was pushed out, right? No one was really doing anything spectacular in the metaverse space, but I'm sure that as we go into the future, metaverse is going to be a big thing. The convergence of virtual reality, augmented reality, all of these things are going to come in. And what you are going to need for that is something that can definitely handle the graphics processing that's needed to create that rich content, the graphics processing that's needed to actually create those rich metaverse universes as well. And this is where Render comes into play. And in fact, if you think about it, and I am kind of going pro Solana, and I can see why they're moving towards it. You've got things like Metaplex within the Solana ecosystem that allow you to do that, to create rich economies, create rich content, especially things like NFT creators. All of these things you are going to need, a lot of resources, a lot of computational resources, and more importantly, graphical processing resources, which is what Render is all about. Oof, I just shilled Render in Solana.
Well, I think my hang up is the same as yours. I don't want it to just be able to be turned off for an indeterminate amount of time. That then needs to be solved via Discord hangouts there. And then you said scene graph or C graph?
Scene graph.
Scene graph. Okay,
scene.
not to be mistaken with graphene, right? Which was a hidden ingredient inside Moderna's. And hold on. I can't finish that sentence. Sorry. Can't finish that sentence there.
All right. Getting cancelled.
All right. I think. All right. Well, let's go to TShroom here. All right. Well, we spelled out a good reason of why they would move to Solana. Can you think of any reasons why they might need to move away from Polygon?
Ooh, interesting. No. I have a theory about this. And I don't know if it's true, but just kind of looking at the project, the Render project, a little bit, is I kind of have a hunch that kind of their overall model, kind of like Helium, is it's kind of losing the incentive structure. I don't know that for a fact at all. My hunch is that the project is just not working out. And I would say, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Correct me if I'm wrong. Just you guys right here. But my hunch is that they've probably been curried over by some of the very talented biz dev reps over at Solana and said, hey, look, you guys are pretty much just kind of fizzling out, phasing down. Why don't you just bring your project over here? You guys can sell when we pop on that. And basically, it'll bring a little bit more transactions to our chain and bring us a little bit more legitimacy in this time where we just cannot get our act together with these outages. When it comes to the project Render, I think it's really cool. There's just no way that I could claim or pretend to claim to understand exactly what they're doing. But again, my hunch is that their project success is not moving in probably the best direction. Again, similar to Helium, another high utility token. Just things are just not panned out. Now that could change. There could be opportunities in the future for both of those projects, which had a great start when use case was such a big buzzword and was so very important. But I'd say, to answer your question, DZ, about Polygon, I don't think I have a great answer for you on that, why they would leave Polygon. Polygon's hot. Polygon's an institutional favorite. It's going to do really, really well in this next bull market. Polygon is great. And we talk about Polygon on the Investing Bros all the time. And I haven't seen like something to come out against Polygon that really was very compelling. And if I'm Render, and I'm the leadership over at Render, I think I might have some tough questions coming my way with this move, because I think that the larger crypto community is just it's not going to add up. Yes, a lot of what was said already about Solana being faster is true. Solana's fast, but I don't think that's enough. I think those outages are just they're too cringe, man. They're too cringe. And Solana's kind of becoming a meme. Now, what I will say is that the Solana phone that is coming out, Solana Mobile, that is a narrative that I think is slept on a little bit. I did not put out in a pause. I hear somebody snickering. Look, it's not something I wouldn't switch away from.
Non-facetiously, he's saying this, folks. This is all non-facetious.
No. Well, you'll see what I'm saying. So it's not like I'm going to switch away from Apple and start using Solana phone. But here's why I think Solana Mobile is important, because it's going to push Android, and it's going to push Apple to have Web3 native, to have like wallets built into smartphones natively. And I wouldn't be surprised that if Solana can actually ship this product and get it into the hands of some people that matter, do a couple of reviews on it, and actually get a little bit of traction, that you might see iPhone 15 feature a lot more Web3 applications, a lot more Web3 functionalities and APIs for developers. And that would obviously be 2 big thumbs up from TShroom and hopefully the rest of the crypto community.
All right, I'm going to put out a bold proclamation here on the Solana phone. The type of person who buys a Solana phone, if you're my age, the type of person who wore the button-up dragon shirts, like the very elaborate tail. A little bit younger, they wore Heelys. So the kid that wore Heelys is going to be the kid with the Solana phone there. All right.
TShroom, are you going to go pick up your Solana phone from the store, the Solana store? Oh, you can't. They closed them all. I forgot. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to order it online. Well, I want to show off their Twitter real quick. Crypto Blood, kind of, I think Firoz, he brought up some good points, how it renders images and video. I want to ask you about AI, though. When AI, I assume a lot more graphics are going to be rendered, a lot more art is going to be created. There's going to be a lot more people just, making little short animations at home. Maybe not specifically this token, but are you bullish on this ecosystem where it's, sort of a decentralized computational processing power? Is this a bullish narrative, maybe leading into the next bull run?
Absolutely, but you can't run it on Windows 95. Okay, that's what Solana is, ladies and gentlemen. Windows 95 of the blockchain game, ladies and gents. Blue screens every other week. Nonsense. I don't know what. There's some backdoor deals going on. Some Hunter Biden, Ukraine. It ain't. It's looking real shady, guys. It's no reason why you would leave Polygon to go over to Solana. Okay, sure, the throughput is faster, better speeds, all that bandwidth and everything, but it doesn't matter if you can't rely on it to stay up 99.99% of the time. That's the whole point of a blockchain. It should stay up all the time. Absolutely. I'm an OG crypto guy. Been in it for 10 years now in March of this year. And that was the thing we prided ourselves in the early days. It's about uptime, being up all the time, never being down, and being reliable for whatever app, DApp, money you want to move, etc. So to me, that is the big problem here with Solana. They can't seem to stay up. Their uptime is horrible. So I don't care if you're 1,000 times faster than any other blockchain out there. If you can't stay up 99.9% of the time, it means nothing. I'm out of here.
All right. Well, we got a guy who never has a problem staying up, and that's Crypto Lifer. Crypto Lifer, because he stays up in the Discord chatting with his communities. Very, very, hands-on.
I was wondering where you're going with that one, Deez.
Yeah. That's where I was heading. Crypto Lifer, what are your thoughts on the price action for Render? Had a significant move. Assuming, maybe it's going to have a little bit of a hype cycle. Is this some buy the room or sell the news? Is this, the start of a new price discovery? What are your thoughts just, on the token price here?
On Render in Solana?
Yes,
or just,
Render.
Yeah,
I'm sure you have hard, strong Solana opinions too, though.
Oh, I think Solana's trash. I wouldn't touch it. I show up every day. I've worked 800 days straight. Like they've been down. I don't like to deal with inconsistency, man. They asked Americans what they love the most about anything in life, and the answer to that was consistency. Americans like consistency. That's a fact. So when, it's interesting, again, show me the charts and I'll show you the news. Shoulder, head and shoulder. I've been looking at this 4-hour oversold. I'm a very simple guy. MACD showing lack of bearish momentum, and we have strong, tight moving averages. Moving averages get tight. It's very similar to Bollinger Bands getting tight. It's showing you that you're bringing yourself back down to a local average, but that local average is way higher than the last time they were tight. It's a very high probability you get above this high volume node at 145, and you're going to rip somewhere into the 2, maybe even further. Now, I got to break this down because I was big into Sia Coin when it first came out. I'm a Boston guy. They came out of MIT, and I wanted to go hard on it. I did like an 8 or 9X on it, but it never really fulfilled what it wanted to do, right? Because that's the decentralized idea. What is render? I was a video editor for years. We had a graphics department down the hallway. We called it the render farm. You have to render graphics. So render is basically, you're going to use all the computing power around the world to be able to work on each other's computers, right? So it's like a decentralized render farm in a way. That model has still been yet to be proven to work fully. How many people commit? Can you really get what you need as fast as you need it? I would rather build my own computer as much as it sounds great. Like, I don't know if I could rely on that. And now they're going to deal with Solana. So am I going to go to render something that I really need, use some other person's computing power, and then find out that it's not done in time? Is the network going to go down? And so it doesn't make me feel comfortable if that's what they're trying to do. Basically a decentralized computer made up of everyone else's computer. Again, it hasn't shown to work too well before, and the guys were at MIT who were doing it. So, show me the charts and I'll show you the news. I don't really care. Sometimes I could see this going up anyway. You know what I mean? Regardless, like, I'll trade, I'll speculate, but I won't hold this long term. I'm not hard into Solana, and it's just really not something that I truly believe in. Even if you look at Solana, it's funny. They look very similar. They're both in an inverted head and shoulder. Solana's oversold on the daily. If Solana gets above this point of control here at 2250, you could see it easily get up to $33. I think, I'm like the people here in the chat. I love my Matic. I love my Polygon. It's a bigger holding of mine. I believe ETH's going to go up. You're going to get the layer 2s like Rocket Pool, LDO. Matic's going to get flown in there with Optimism, Arbitrum. This is really where you want to be in. I don't see Solana really jumping in on that. And again, like I said, once you fool me once, my fault. Fool me twice, it's fool me once, it's your fault. Fool me twice, it's my fault. I don't want to be fooled by Solana ever again. You know what I mean? I'm done. And I also have a bad taste in Sam Bankman-Fried. You're not supposed to trade on emotions, but I don't like putting my money behind things that I don't fully believe in and that I don't have a really good, energetic feel for. So I'm all set, man, on all this. It puts a bad taste in my mouth. Render might be a cool little swing trade for the group and stuff like that, but I'm not really going all in on that thing.
All right. Once bitten, twice shy. And you actually gave a great example where, sometimes if you try to process a longer video, maybe you're just making a YouTube video, maybe you're making a family reunion video. You walk away, it says estimated time till completion, 2 hours. You hit enter, walk back after 2 hours, it says estimated time to completion, 1 hour, 37 minutes. Yeah, that would be a pretty bad feeling there. So I didn't even think about that negative example there.
I was a video editor for years. So
maybe not certainly not as reliable as just having the computer in the room with you. All right, great points there. All right, well, it looks like that's all we have time for. And TShroom took it home. I thought it was going to be Firoz. I thought it was going to be Lifer there at the end. Hell, I thought it was going to be Blood after the first segment there. But looks like TShroom, you ended up taking it home. Feel free, concoct us an herbal tea and give the people what they need.
Awesome. Well, it's a super big pleasure to be here on Around the Blockchain. DZ, you do such a great job. I love reading the comments. They are very, very very good for you. People really like you a lot. Definitely go check out the Investing Bros. Check out Army Piper as well, his Twitter. He's the latest addition to the Investing Bros. Tim, obviously, coming in strong, the powerhouse, TA. Go ahead and check us out. We have a lot of great guests, some of the folks, some of the faces you see on here. And, thank you guys so much for having me on. Definitely remember to DCA, never invest more than you can afford to lose, but spend some time looking into new alt projects that you've never heard of. Don't necessarily, FOMO into them, but spend some time down there and see if you can invest in some pretty cool projects that are on the come up.
All right. It looks like, speaking of chat, looks like some of you guys picked up what we were putting down. Kyle Owen, talking to you. That's all we got time for. Make sure you hit that like button. Go to the description below and check out the links for all these people's channels. They're putting out really, really good content, guys. We don't just say that. We love having all these guests on the show. So please help support us. Give them that little Around the Blockchain love. And until next time, DZ out.